Okay, I warmly welcome all of you to today's webinar, Scoring Lead Propensity, Thinking Beyond Obvious. My name is Kaushal Bhatt, and I lead worldwide marketing and partnerships at Tatvic Analytics, a leading martech company and a premier business partner of DataIQ in Asia Pacific. Rated as a leader in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for 21-22, DataIQ is one of the leading providers of AI and ML platforms in the world. To start with our agenda, the cost of acquiring customers and the customer's lifetime value, commonly known as LTV, are among the most important metrics that modern enterprises and marketeers have to keep tabs on. Ideally, you want to acquire customers with a higher lifetime value, that is LTV, and at a lower cost of acquisition. So that begs the question, how do you determine which leads are most likely to become your buyers or your customers? And how can you optimize campaigns to generate better leads? Enter lead scoring, our topic, right? Today, we are going to tell you everything there is to know about lead scoring, what it is, why it is important, and how you can implement an effective artificial intelligence and machine learning based propensity lead scoring model by leveraging the combined capabilities of Tatvic Analytics and DataIQ's revolutionary DSS platform. To answer all these questions and provide you with insights on how to get started, I've invited some of my industry colleagues and friends. Tarun Lalwani, Lead Solution and Architect at DataIQ, Bismay Mohapatra, Head of Solutions Development at Tatvic Analytics, and Abhishek Pathak, Lead Data Scientist again at Tatvic Analytics for this very interesting discussion. So now, as I have set the context, guys, I'll turn my table to Bismay. Bismay, could you tell us why is lead scoring that important? Bismay, sorry, if you hear me, we can't hear you. If one of the other panelists can confirm, if they can hear Bismay.
No, we can't hear him.
Sorry, Bismay. This not yet, Bismay. Is it your laptop? Because the console says that you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, my bad. Sure. So apologies for the little hiccup there. Okay, well, we were talking about lead scoring as a marketing use case, be it any business, which is like, let's say, a banking or a finance or an insurance sector, or we are talking about any lead generation company, even DataIQ, which is a B2B SaaS company versus us as a B2B services company. We extract or collect leads. So how do we perceive the value of these leads? How do we segment them into cold leads, warm leads, and hot leads? That is the crux of doing lead scoring, and this is an exercise that marketers or sales people or the contact center teams they definitely need it for increasing the efficacy of their middle of the funnel activities, right? So let me share some interesting stats. The Gartner study suggests that 70% of the leads are lost because the number of leads that have come in are too high, or let's say there has been less number of activities from the contact center teams or the sales teams to prioritize whom to call or whom not to call, right? Whom to qualify or whom not to, or which are disqualified. There's a marketing surplus studies which says that all the companies who have used or lead scoring or who are deployed lead scoring in their marketing funnel activities, they see about a 77% higher lead generation ROI. That's like a huge improvements in terms of ROI when we know that our marketing budgets are constrained to performance and performance orientation, right? there's another interesting stat which was done by Kentico study, which says that 38% of businesses, they experience higher lead to sale conversion rate. Now, this is a prime metric for marketers as well as the sales or the contact center agents who are looking to convert more and more of the leads that flow into the system, right? For any businesses who have more than, let's say, we can take a benchmark of, let's say, 1,000 leads coming in a day, they would want to do certain kind of prioritization or segmentation of different bands of leads, or hot, warm, and cold leads as they go ahead. Right? Yeah.
Excellent. But thank you for sharing these statistics, Bismay. But as a solution lead, you've come across customers across variety of industries, and you've also seen lead scoring evolving through these years, right? What is ideally a basic difference between traditional way of scoring leads and predictive lead scoring, or what we call it in a modern day language as propensity modeling?
Interesting question. A couple of years, or more than a couple of years, we have taken our stab into lead scoring as a marketing advanced analytics use case for our customers, be it enterprise or young growing startups who are receiving a flurry of leads that come in. The traditional way of doing lead scoring for legacy businesses was they had one data source, which was the CRM, the customer relations management, or the contact center database. Now, this data source had data of what the user does or the prospect lead does once they land in your CRM systems, or they have been contacted once by your call center, right? At that point in time, they don't have any enriched user info to score them properly. Or let's say if they had, the contact center team would do something basis of rule based. Let's say, for example, people who come from Singapore and they are from an organic medium channel, and they fall in the age group of XYZ, they have a higher propensity to convert, right? So that was a rule based scoring that the contact center team had put in place. And so on and so forth, because there is a lack of the continuous optimization process that comes into picture, because once the rules are set, it is not very easy to kind of modify it or optimize it based on the targets, or based on the efficiency of the model that the results are generated. So you may ask, what's the new of lead scoring? Yes, AI is the buzz. Yeah, so AI is the buzz. So if you see, previously there was only one data source, which was the CRM, which contains the user profile data, right? More of a PI related information that is available along with different sets of attributes. While there is another big data source that is lying with us. For any website visitor who has landed on your website or opened your app, before they submitted a lead, they have left a touch points of their behavioral data. Now that's a rich source of data which needs to be tapped into your lead scoring process or lead scoring methodology. You may ask why. If there are, and obviously on the base of machine learning algorithms, you may ask why. Because there is real-time scoring as a benefit that comes into picture, because you can now score your leads in almost real time, because the data is available to you in real time. There's a high degree of accuracy that comes in, because machine auto learns on itself based on the new data sets or new rules that can be set, or the new forms of data that might come in. And this process is obviously automated. You don't have to do a lot of human intervention, and it is quite scalable. Maybe today you may be receiving 100 leads or 1,000 leads, and they like 3 months down the line you may be receiving 10,000 leads a day. So the process is so automated and scalable in nature that it takes care of this. Yeah, so the question came in, like, why user behavior data is a must in lead scoring, as in why should I actually care about this user behavior data? So this has come from the experience of running lead scoring models for multiple customers at our end. We see that 74% contribution comes from attributes which are like site or app behavior attributes. Now examples of these attributes can be the sessions that they do on your website, how much time have they spent, what type of pages have they visited, if there are any micro conversion goals that you have tracked on your website or your app. Those data sets or data points are actually contributing about 74% to a propensity of a lead converting, while 16% and 10% falls into the buckets of traffic source and user profile. User profile, obviously you already have the data in CRM. It's almost the same data that you have there, and traffic source is more to do with pre-website visits, something like the channel, the source medium, and all such attributes. So urging everybody, like the data scientists or product managers or marketing managers who are looking at doing lead scoring as an activity for their businesses, they should consider website data as a prime data source. So like we moved on to this slide where we're talking about what does the solution looks like in an outset. So there is the online data sources, analytics, and let's say Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics. Then there are leads and conversion data, which comes from your CRMs like Salesforce or Lead Square. On top of that, you run all kinds of ML algorithms, be it as simple as a logistic regression to your tree-based algorithms or boosting algorithms, or even DNNs. Which basically segments your leads into multiple bands. Like we were talking about hot, warm, and cold. So we'll have high propensity to convert, which may be greater than 80%. You can have dynamic percentages of your bands, which you can create based on the algorithms or based on the model that you are running, right? And what's the activation that comes out of it? The channels can be contact center, which is primary of lead scoring, where the contact center receives the scores of each and every lead that they have received, so that they know whom to call first, whom not to call, or maybe whom they can call maybe after 20 minutes or 30 minutes, because they also have certain tags to follow, right? If there is a marketing team involved and they want to use this rich data of leads into remarketing campaigns or creating similar audiences of the high quality leads, they can do so with the Google platforms or Facebook platforms. And since there's a PI information is already there, which is like email IDs or phone numbers, we can definitely go forward with some kind of email or SMS campaigns as we go along. Yeah. This is an interesting snapshot of how the decision tree looks like. I know it's a little fuzzy here, but at the outset, what I wanted to mention is, like, if there is a attributes that are being captured, behavioral plus user profile plus traffic. So if you see somebody who is a mobile device user and they come from this particular region and they have a policy tenure of this much, and they come from a particular city, they have the highest conversion rate, right? So this sort of insights, they come out from a lead scoring model, and that is what sets you apart when you are knowing whom to call to first versus which is your core lead, or maybe you can just let them drop off the funnel, right? So this is a wonderful example of how the decision tree of a lead scoring model looks like.
Excellent. In fact, this was super granular. Thanks for sharing kind of your view and perspective on lead scoring has actually evolved over the years. However, if you would have to cite an example of any of your customers who would have actually deployed these models and have benefited out of it, would you be able to?
No, I think we have a real world customer success story for us. I'll take the example of ICICI Prudential. It is one of the India's largest private life insurers, where their contact center team wanted to segment their leads. They were getting a barrage of leads coming in. They wanted to know which are qualified, which are unqualified leads, and accordingly they could prioritize the calling center efforts. And their marketing team wanted to make use of this quality leads to create segments of similar audiences which they could run for the top of the funnel campaigns. Let's just move on to the next slide. There's an brilliant outcome that came in from the exercise that we did with them. From a contact center activation side, we saw that the conversion rate went up by 22%, while the return on ad spends that they were spending on high propensity audience, it was about 18x. For the marketing team, the top of the funnel went up by 32%, which are actually quality leads because they were creating similar audiences of such campaigns and running them on Google networks. While the CPA, which was a function, the cost per lead or the cost per acquisition, went down by 61%. Now that's some brilliant outcomes that we were able to generate from the lead scoring exercise that we did.
This is excellent, Bismay. And thank you for sharing your thoughts. And the customer truly benefited out of deploying in propensity lead modeling across variety of spectrum, right? Now I would turn my table back to Tarun. Tarun, so while Bismay has of course kind of highlighted the business implications of propensity lead modeling, right? Would you kind of highlight what is the difference that DataIQ and Tatvic team brings on table? I mean, what is that combined strength of yours?
Most definitely. And thanks, Bismay, for actually providing all that insightful information. It goes to say that the modern way of lead scoring actually makes complete use of of data science. You mentioned that the modern way requires that the data that's available in all the different data sources that needs to be acquired, it needs to be prepared, it needs to be enriched. There is modeling and validation that needs to happen, and finally you have to operationalize it and monitor it even when it is operationalized. Sure. Now, DataIQ is this platform, and it DataIQ's Data Science Studio platform provides for a complete no-code, low-code approach that augments the way everyone works with data. Less technical users, for example, business and research analysts, they can make use of, they can participate in all aspects of data exploration, wrangling, dashboarding, advanced statistical analysis, data visualization through the point-and-click approach. Whereas the data scientists can code freely with Jupyter or Python IDEs, and they can have full programmatic control over the solution that's being prepared. When we look at traditional data science solution, there are different personas that get involved in the creation and designing and development and deployment of a data science solution. For example, you have the business owners, you have the analysts, you have the data scientists, you have the engineers. All of these different personas come together and they would ideate the solution. There is data preparation that's involved. There is auto ML when it comes to modeling, data enrichment, validation, business rules monitoring, and so forth. And finally, you also have operationalization and deployment. Now, DataIQ's end-to-end platform provides this pre-integrated framework where all these personas can come together and participate in the design and development of data science solution. Right from ideation, of course, data preparation, visualization, and statistical analysis. I spoke about that. Auto ML, and even bringing in your own models to the platform. And then finally, to operationalization and monitoring. Because as all of us understand, that a data science solution doesn't end when it is deployed. It actually lives through till the solution is retired, which means that even when a solution is in operational mode, it needs to be constantly monitored for any kind of decay or drift or things like that. Now, along with this, the Data Science Studio platform provides an enterprise-grade secure structure along with governance framework. This is what DataIQ's Data Science Studio platform brings to the table. So let me, if I can hand it over back to Kaushal.
Sure, but however, I guess we also want to kind of show this in real action. Would you and Abhishek would be able to show us that?
Oh yes, actually, as part of a code development exercise between Tatvic and DataIQ, we actually prepared a solution using the platform where teams from both our organizations got together and we applied our minds to it and prepared this solution. So let me quickly show you what we actually started to prepare.
Sure.
So a typical business application, this is what a business user would experience as part of the solution. Would be where you have a business user would want to understand, and Bismay spoke about being able to look at real-time results of existing data. For example, a business user might want to load a list of a new data set where they want to look at the propensity scoring or lead scoring, and a model internally the model has been applied, the trained model, and then the outcome is readily available for people to view. Now here is where I will invite Abhishek to speak about what is the importance of all of this information, how this resonates to what Bismay was talking about.
Thank you, Tarun, and welcome everyone to the webinar. So, as in the initial part where Bismay said that the propensity model gives us a propensity score, which is in itself is a probability score of conversion. So, in the dashboard here, we have three buckets, which are the green, yellow, red, or we can call them the warm, hot, and cold buckets. So these are showcasing, the dashboard is showcasing basically the percentage of subjects who are lying into different categories in the bucket score, the green, yellow, and the red. The green ones are the hot ones, and you need to definitely do an activation on them to they get them converted. Similarly, if I move to the channel grouping part, again, Bismay said that there are various ways of people landing on the landing page or the conversion page. Then this channel grouping basically shows where and the source from where the subjects are landing on the conversion page. As in the, the chart, we are able to see that organic search has been the major contributor here. Then coming to the below bucket, these are the primary IDs and the city from which the activation or the people are basically belonging, or the subjects are basically belonging with their respective propensity or the probability score. So this is, web app which will give you a result of new customers.
Thanks, Abhishek. And actually, this web app was actually used using the platform itself. So the platform itself can help you, design solution, design your pipelines, create your pipelines, and also create, applications where you can do your batch scoring, or for that matter, help you create API endpoints where you can connect to with external applications as and when you require. When it comes to real-time scoring, for example, if you want to access an endpoint from a handheld device and so on, all of those capabilities are available. But having said that, let's actually talk about how a solution like this is developed. And let's open up the hood and see how the platform looks inside. What you're looking at is the design node of the platform. This is where all the development or solution creation activity happens. This is where all the users can get connected via the browser on the centralized solution, and they can participate in the entire creation and solution designing. What you see on the right hand side is all very easily available, a list of activities that have been performed on the solution itself. You have access to elements, summary access to the elements like the number of data sets that have been used, the number of models, the number of transformation or recipes as we call it, and all that information. You have an area where you can define the description of the project and what this project, the outcome of the project is, and you can also set up your to-dos. We have a centralized chat feature where you can interact with all the people who are interacting and collaborating on this solution. And the main area where you actually start developing the solution, what we call as the flow, makes use of geometry, colors, icons for a very visual look and visual interaction with the users. I said about the no-code, low-code approach. I said about the highly interactive IDE where you can actually start building these solutions. For example, all the square elements, they represent data sets. The icons within the square elements, they represent where the data is actually stored. The circular elements, they represent the transformation or what we call as recipes. The yellow circular elements are the visual recipes where you can perform all the different actions on the data. You have a slew of all these actions that are typically required to perform all the different data wrangling through visual point and click. Or if you wanted to bring in some code snippets that you might already have, or your data scientist would want to add in some code elements, they can use the code recipes. And you also have a list of all the plugins that you can apply as and when you require, or for that matter, use a code recipe and convert that into a plugin. We have done that, and Abhishek will talk about this later. The green elements talk about the machine learning aspects and model creation, and this is just to explain the lay of the land. Now, we spoke about one of the challenges of the modern way of lead scoring is getting access to the data. Now, the platform provides you a very easy way to acquire data from all of these different data sources via its inbuilt connectors, ready to available connectors. And let me invite Abhishek again because he and his team were actually involved in getting setting all of this up along with the DataIQ team, and he can share his experiences around what was required for data acquisition, data preparation, and how did his team benefit from using the platform.
Thank you, Dharan, again. So the best thing, or one of the key feature which the DataIQ platform provided us was the agility of connecting to various data sources available. I mean, as Tarun shown that we have the option of connecting to various data sources. So this gives us the agility over the coding part, as we need to create separate interfaces depending on the source of the data. So again, moving to the most critical part of a data science or machine learning project is the data preparation part. I mean, the DataIQ platform has almost all the visual recipes available, which are, I mean, needed into data transformation and, I mean, cleaning, as well as munching or crunching the data here. So most of the recipes are already available here, and I mean, as you can see that data cleaning part is there, then string manipulations are there, date manipulations. Then there is one more option here, that if you are not able to find, or you need to do a custom thing, then there are code recipes available there in Python, in R, where you can create your own code, and later, if that is you're going to reuse it again, then you can transform that code into a plugin. For example, we have done one such activity here in the flow. That is, we do a backtesting kind of thing on which is a decile analysis. So we initially created a code in Python, which is a code recipe. Then later on, we converted that code recipe into a plugin, so that can be reused whenever we are retraining the model.
Thanks, Abhishek. Now, one of the areas that I spoke about, when it comes to performing your visualizations and statistical analysis. Now, the platform provides a very easy way where you can create your charts. You have all of these different capabilities of creating all the charts as are required, and perform different statistical analysis on your data that are readily available. For example, all of these different kind of statistical analysis, right, from principal component analysis, univariate analysis, correlation metrics, all of them are readily available from the platform itself. What has been your experience around this, Abhishek?
So Tarun, again, the DataIQ platform provides us a low code or a no code approach. The clicks, the draggable options are, I mean, they give us agility, they reduce the development time and the analysis time here. Even if I move to the insights tab here, then if we move to the correlation metrics, the way we used to do the exploratory data analysis has become more interactive with business people. So instead of calling it an exploratory data analysis, we can definitely pitch or call it as interactive data analysis.
Fantastic, and I can see that a lot of these statistical analysis were carried out. Also, scatter plots that are readily available for you on all the different bivariate analysis that you want to create. Great.
Yes,
now, having said this, this is where, and I'm glad that the team could actually, use all of these different features which add value, which add, as you said, Abhishek, which add a bit agility. Coming to the actual, the ML side of it, or machine learning and model creation side of it. The platform over here provides a area called a lab, and the reason why we call it a lab is that everybody understands that creation of a model is a very iterative process, but the faster the iteration, the more the interaction between the data scientists, the business users, the data engineers, the faster every cycle, and hence the more agile the overall model development process. And this lab over here actually gives you a very easy way to define your model. You can define your target feature, and you can start creating analysis. You can define your different parameters, like identify the runtime environment where actually the training will happen. You can pick and choose which features you want to include as part of your design consideration. You can also identify the different algorithms that you would want to apply over here. For example, if you wanted to override some of the existing algorithms and tweak some of the parameters. All of that is available for you, and you can initiate your train. And training and creating a model, or for that matter, your first level baseline model, is as simple as that, and the training is already in action. So using this, you can create multiple sessions, and you can do a very quick comparative analysis on each of the models, each of the algorithms, and how they behave related to all of these different parameters. All of this information is available for you. Over here, would you like to comment, Abhishek, on how your team was able to derive value?
Yes, Tarun. There are two great aspects. First of all, as you said in the initial, that the machine learning project or a data science project has different personas. So first of all, the DataIQ platform provides us a very unified, a unique platform in which the data engineers, the business analysts, the data science people, the machine learning engineers, they can collaboratively work. The second point here is that whenever we are working in the orthodox way of coding, then the time which we take to create the baseline model is a sequential step. For example, we need to try one model, then again the next model, out of which we can then pick the best performing model. But here the DataIQ platform gives us the option of running multiple sessions with multiple models and doing a cross comparison throughout using the table or the comparison matrix here. So again, this is one of the great features here. Then if we look into the model performance or the model evaluation part, then in that, I mean, even people are basically knowing that they think that the AI solution or the ML solution is a black box kind of thing or a magic kind of solution. But here the interpretation panel, which provides the feature importance, the subpopulation analysis, the individual explanation, market analysis as well, the confusion matrix, all these features make the data science people or the machine learning people or enable them to showcase the performance, the analysis done, different aspects of the model to the business people, to the client as well, so that I mean, it's not of a black box kind of thing.
Excellent.
All right. As a team, I know, it was very easy to interact with your team, and kudos to your team as well as the DataIQ team, where we were sitting in different locations. In today's times, they've become very important. Even across different geographies, different countries, where we got together and we, created this solution. So that's what was actually put in into creating this solution. Now, having said that, once a solution like this is designed and it's ready, defining any kind of scheduling or external triggers is something as simple as identifying how you want to initiate any of these scenarios or schedulers, as you might want to call it, and deploying it into your production environment is as simple as creating a bundle and then taking that bundle and applying it onto your the automation or API node, as we call it, basically your production environment. So that's what it takes, using the platform and using a team like what Tatvic has, which brings in all the domain expertise and the knowledge and putting together and creating a solution like that. At this point, I'll hand it over back to Kaushal. Over to you, Kaushal.
Excellent, guys, and thank you for kind of showcasing and giving us a deep dive onto the platform. So Bismay, again, back to you. So you understand the business side of the modeling and then the use case, and you've seen this platform in action, right? If you'll have to summarize the benefits for our audience, how would that be kind of layout?
Right. First of all, actually, I want to mention that I may not call myself a power user of DataIQ, but I can definitely create models right now within DataIQ without the help of Abhishek, right? Because he's the lead data scientist, but I can still, if the data is available to me, I can, play around with the tool and still create a model and, showcase it to my customer while I'm doing a conversation with them. There are a multitude of features that are available in the DSS platform that we saw. It's worth a try for any data scientist, aspiring data scientists, or if there are different use cases that are coming into your mind, it's worth a try there. Let's look at what benefits that we are getting out of it. For us, we saw that if we are running a lead scoring use case for a client, it usually used to take about 4+ weeks. Now it takes less than 10 days. That's how the time has reduced. And why? Because like Abhishek was saying, we were talking about time that was savings on the different transformation recipes that one needed to code from scratch or deploy the pipelines. So whether it's I love the word EDA to IDA, interactive data analysis, right? So multiple algorithms that are there, and retraining pipelines that are available in form of scenarios. You can do it as quickly as possible because everything is out of the box there. The second portion is more about to do with AI democratization, where we are talking about democratizing the use of AI in multiple teams. Like we have an analytics team and the BI team. There's the engineering team, which is basically the cloud engineers, and the data science team, which Abhishek leads. Now, all of them can collaborate and work together on the same model or different sets of models for the same use case, and still, tackle on basis of different better outputs for the customer's business, right? The final big benefit that comes across that we have also seen where we are using the, different variety data science use cases using DSS, right from your lead scoring or customer segmentation or LTV modeling, be it a recommendation engine, which is like a content recommendation or an image recommendation or a video classification, right? There are a whole length of use cases that you can run. It's not just tied down to something like a lead scoring particular use case. Some of our team members have built a sentiment analysis app, which is available, where you can just feed in your social sentiment, social data or reviews data, and it will throw out what is the sentiment score of these reviews, what is the typical category where you are failing in or where you're good at in terms of your customers reviews, right? So definitely this is something that we are taking home in terms of utilizing DSS platform along with our knowledge of the domain knowledge to build such models. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you once again, Tarun, Abhishek, and Bismay, for sharing your wealth of knowledge in this domain and giving us kind of an overview of modern way of looking towards lead scoring. Now, a lot of us, and in fact, while we were kind of encouraging everyone to register for this webinar, a question came where to get started, right? We highly recommend all of you to kind of get your data-driven marketing capabilities assessed via an industry-first digital maturity, one of the very comprehensive digital maturity framework, which has been designed by world's leading consulting firm, the Boston Consulting Group, and then the Google. This maturity model actually lets you evaluate your data-driven marketing capabilities, like as I said, on 4 stages. Either you could be nascent, emerging, connected, or say multi-moment. Right, and based on our experience in assessing 100+ enterprises on their digital maturity, we have seen that when companies move from one stage to the other, and primarily say from nascent to multi-moment, they've gained an advantage of incremental revenue up to 20%. In fact, some of the enterprises have also highlighted that they could increase their marketing efficiency and reduce the cost of operations, running marketing operations and these models by 30%. And that's the advantage that the Tatvic and DataIQ team offers you on the table. So before even you start evaluating the model, you may want to kind of evaluate your maturity model. This is how generally an assessment scorecard would look like whenever we would do these complementary assessment of your marketing. Ideally, the assessment gets done on 6 key parameters: audience, assets, access, attribution, automation, and organization. Based on assessing these, we come back to you with your score, and most importantly, the recommendations and roadmap for you to move to the next level. A lot of you would be wondering, where would you stand? While we don't have an individual assessments of the enterprises that we can reflect here, but here is our experience. As you can see, other than retail, most of the industries in India generally falls between, say, nascent to connected state of their digital maturity. And I'm sure a lot of you are interested in moving towards the multi-moment. So for you, while we would definitely reach out to each and everyone who's either registered or attended this webinar to get your digital maturity assessed, you can always reach out to us on the numbers which has been displayed here and drop us an email to hello@tatvic.com. We look forward to hearing from you and most importantly, remaining in touch with you guys. Wish you all a great evening.